Oh, that's funny, right? We got the red van literally as I start the video. Now red cars haven't been like a huge thing for me. Apparently, I mean I've had some weird stuff with them, but not like not maybe if it seems like it's not a big amount, maybe I've just sort of disregarded them, but not a huge thing for me. But yeah, so I was just thinking of, there's this great song title from, indeed I think it is, it is from Transylvanian Hunger by Dark Throne, right? And I'm not necessarily suggesting to listen to Dark Throne. I think I've gotten a lot of enjoyment out of black metal, but it is very dark. It's, you know, if you're like sort of staying away from like satanic stuff, it's like, you know, steer clear. But one of the interesting song titles from that album, Transylvanian Hunger, if not that one, then a different one of theirs, I guess, is As Flitter Mice as Satan's Spies. And sort of like, it's like people from Norway or whatever, and so a lot of the English is kind of funny in the song titles, but like they are the titles of the songs. It's just like weird English rather than Norwegian a lot of the time, or whatever they speak. And it's just an interesting thing. As flitter mice as Satan's spies, like as if to say, like, you know, like the mice, like similar to, you know, the idea of plague being carried by rats and stuff, but it's, or the, you know, the meme idea of like, oh, birds are spies. It's like the idea that like these mice are like they're actually like sort of working for, you know, the Ephesians 6:12, powers and principalities, dark forces in high places or whatever. And so what do I see when I leave the house but this crow like standing there? And, you know, I did feel a little like sort of like, oh, you're not supposed to go walk to Dunkin' Donuts, or like sort of a sense of like, you know, maybe intuitive sense of like it might not be the best time right now. And I was also thinking about like my energy for like what I'm going to do later. It's like, well, you know, it might not be the best time, but in any case, what do I see when I go out but a crow? And then, like, of course, the crow, it wasn't a lot of crows, but I guess there were more, because suddenly there was like a lot of cawing and crowing. I wonder if you could hear any of that in the first video, if it was still going on by then. But so I just thought it might be fun to make a video, and just sort of as a fun thing. I don't know, maybe I won't put it in any video, maybe I will. But there were some gang-stalking movies that I left out or didn't mention. A big one would be The Adjustment Bureau, actually. That takes more of the Synecdoche, New York tack of kind of the weird spiritual or kind of reality stuff that goes on beyond just the stuff where it seems like physical people are doing things. So yeah, The Adjustment Bureau, super big movie, very good. You know, it's the guys in suits who are kind of like trying to stop Matt Damon from doing XYZ, or trying to lead him in a certain direction, and he's supposed to be like this big politician, but if he goes out with this one woman, then that's going to ruin it or something, or I don't know. And then of course the movie, the idea is like, well, can he get away from this? Does he escape his fate? Even if it seems like he does he actually, etc. They have a lot of interesting stuff about time. They say, you know, we're in time, being too early is just as bad as being too late. There's another part where John Slattery, or Roger Sterling from Mad Men, his character is saying like, enjoy the now. Basically, like he's saying like, oh, okay, just leave everything behind then, like, you know, screw up your whole life, enjoy now. And there's another part where, like, I think that might be the same scene actually, where you see Matt Damon walk down this like hospital hallway under this like clock that's ominously hanging over him. It's all about like now versus time and everything and stuff. Oh, a huge gang stalking thing. This was at my recent job where I talk about it in the out, abuse, etc. But like maybe the first day I was there, or like first day I was there into like the evening, there, like, it's just weird things happen. These things that happen that are just like sort of unusual, and it's like it feels like people are just acting. I'm not saying that they were, I don't know. And actually when it happened, like, I was like, oh, you know, that's kind of nice. But then later I was thinking, like, isn't this like when I like, you know, when you see these, like, oh, you know, love your mom, like you see a bumper sticker and like your mom has seemed to be like your main gang stalker or something, and then like there'll be this whole like panoply of things in front of you, like, that are just like obvious like hints, like, oh, love her before she's gone, or like, you know, everybody loves their mom, or like moms are the best or something. And it's just like the 988 suicide hotline thing I saw as I was doing a recording or audio the other day. But in any case, that'll probably be in this video. I was standing there at the place that I worked, and these people came in, like a mother and a child, and this, oh yeah, see, ooh, yeah, there you go, see that motherfucker, he just went over that white line a little bit, and I'm about to walk down here, he just like drifted over the white line a little bit. Now that's interesting. That seems like what I was saying about the cars. Here we go, we got the rumble, yep, that seems, oh, here, listen to that. That seems like what I was saying about the cars that are like swinging real wide to go and park these days, it seems. And it's like, basically, it looks like they're coming at me for a second. It's like, it's not like they end up coming at me, but just for a second it gives the impression of like, this car's actually headed straight for you. So he went right over that line, almost like drunkenly a little bit, but who knows. In any case, this couple of people come in, a mother and her, like, what, 12-year-old son or something, and there's like this chalkboard where I work, and it's like, oh, the customers can draw stuff on the chalkboard, whatever, mainly for kids, I guess, but anyone could. And or I guess for anybody, but, you know, probably like an attractive thing for oh yeah, draw something on the chalkboard, how fun is that? And this kid, he looks to his mom, and like, this doesn't seem like a kid like that. This seems like kind of like a snotty kid. He just the air he gives off, it seems like this is like total bullshit. But he looks to his mom, and he's like, Mom, can I draw something on the board? Or alternatively, maybe he had already done it, and he says, Mom, look what I drew on the board. And he had literally written like, Mommy, I love you. And she's like, oh, that's very sweet, son. And it's like, and of course this is with me having had like issues with like a certain person seeming to like try to screw with me, and like kind of basically being like the main abuser, while sort of like giving off this kind of false air of like, oh, but I'm just a sweet little old lady, and oh, you know, but then they just continue to push on your boundaries and then escalate and stuff like that. And it's like, well, you're not allowed to say anything because they smiled. So of course we got the people sitting in the cars, you know, I guess that's common enough in Duncan. But then of course we also had the car, as I mentioned yesterday, with the door partially open, no leg hanging out this time. One of the guys walked in as I went in, who was also just sitting in his car apparently waiting, so there you go. But then not only that, but like 4 frickin' cars came into the parking lot just as I got in. You know, they're really doing the car stuff, it seems, today. Actually, as I walk past this little thing, recently, and this might have been a case of like another aggressive like car thing, I don't know, maybe they're trying to send me a signal that like they're about to fucking run me over if I get them too mad. But so I'm walking over here, and I walk to basically to this like middle part, and I'm kind of like actually looking away because they're probably trying to hit me with the sensitization stuff, whatever. But in any case, I walk to like that middle thing, and then someone's waiting to pull in here, and I'm like, oh, okay. So I see him here, and I just wait, and they're like, and they just wait, and I'm like waiting for them to go. and then eventually, like, I guess, I don't know, eventually I guess maybe I go and then they go around me or something, but then what they literally do is they go in the wrong fucking lane. Literally, this is the left lane and you're supposed to drive in the right lane in America. They go in the wrong fucking lane, like specifically so that I would have been blocking them because they wanted to go into this lane, the wrong lane. That was a funny one. Of course, I'm watching like a hawk when they're making my coffee because, you know, I got a Dunkin' gift card. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't be going to Dunkin'. But it's like, you know, they're probably trying to fuck with your food anytime they can. So I'm watching like a hawk, and this girl, like, it seems like very clearly trying to keep the cup between, like, on the other side of her, and so I can't really see it. And like, it's like, oh, is she surreptitiously like spitting down into it or something? Hopefully not. Now this is a weird one. Maybe I'll go around to the other side where they have like huge now hiring signs, but they've been trying to get me at this Home Depot for a while now, it seems. I mean, maybe not, but my aunt, like, you know, a couple of years ago now, but she'd send me a picture of like this Home Depot now hiring, and then of course my mom mentions, oh, they're hiring at the Home Depot, and then like it had said now hiring at the front of the store. Oh, here we go. We got a lot of cars whipping by now. It had said now hiring at the front of the store on some like big banner or something, but now like literally outside there, a place where you get into the parking lot, turn into it, and then also outside the other place where you turn into the parking lot, they have now hiring signs, and the other place they have two huge ones with like pictures of like people, like, this is how you would feel if you worked at Home Depot. And like, it really feels like there's some creepy shit going on at that Home Depot. I'm not saying there is, I'm just saying it really seems like they've been trying to get me to work there, and this is like maybe hold on. This is like maybe a 5-minute walk from my house or less. Seems like they've been trying to get me to work there for a while. Another good Gangstalking movie, it seems, would be Eagle Eye. Now, I haven't seen it, but somebody on the Stephanie the Seeker chat this past live stream said Eagle Eye, like somebody had told them like that, so they said, they were like, well, somebody told me that the technology, like, and they said, I think they framed it as like somebody told them who was doing this, but they were like, somebody told me that the technology they use to like see where you're going and everything is like in the movie Eagle Eye. I think it's an interesting topic, so keep going on it. So one sort of kind of thing, and I see the gang stalking, it's often just kind of bizarre, but often like the bizarreness or the surreal nature of it off as threatening. Taking items that you usually get and like putting them in a more prominent position than usual. Like you can see the picture of how they had the almond milk set up in the video More Gang Stalking period. But you know, so sometimes the surreal or out of place nature of things comes off as a little scary. But then, not that like you're scared of it, but it's definitely like a little ominous, maybe. But then there are things where it's like pretty ominous. Like, for example, I talked in that video when I was talking about the shopping cart about this sort of red, like kind of muscle car looking thing that pulled up real slow as I was coming out of like sort of the area that I live, or, you know, coming in as I was walking out, more or less. And one of the things that I've found happened a couple times recently, and of course, if you start to notice it, maybe it's happened before, but maybe not. Maybe that's why it seems like you're noticing it. You know, it's like maybe you notice something new. And a couple times recently, I've seen cars that will like sort of be heading in my direction. I tend to walk on the left side of the street so that you're facing the cars, of course. They say not to do that, but they tell you a lot of things. You want to see what's coming at you, right? what, you're gonna have the car right behind you, and then like you stumble and then it's right there and you didn't know it was there. Just like, tell me how that's safe, right? Tell me how that's the safe way. But anyway, so I'll be walking on the left side of the street, and a couple times in the past couple days, I think it'll look like a car, like basically it like, I don't know, like it really, it leans in to my side of the street, and like it's coming right at me, and you know, like it's coming in my direction anyway, but like it, you know, it looks like it basically, it's like getting in position to hit me. And it hasn't been very close, but happened a couple times, just happened in the past couple minutes now. And then it'll be like, oh no, they're pulling into their driveway. But it's like they swing to the right to pull into their driveway on the left. Or wait. Well, in any case, they swing sort of like directly towards me to pull into their driveway. And that's happened a couple times recently, and like it's like, oh, is that intentional? Whatever, like, because it could be or it might not be. But that's just one of the sort of like sometimes it comes off as not just weird and kind of ominous because of how weird it is. Sometimes it seems to come off as like ominous because like it's like someone kind of getting real close to you or something. Like one of the guys I worked with, I've talked about this, but the one who was kind of harassing me or whatever, like he before I had my little confrontation with him and I wasn't working there anymore, it was just a verbal one, but nevertheless I called him a couple of you know, mean names, and but one of the things he started doing before I kind of blew up at him is he started getting real up close to me. He started seeming to find excuses, or at least find things that he hadn't really been doing before, to get real up close to me and just do it over and over again, getting in my space. Like one of the things Stephanie the Seeker said, where she says, you know, one of the 5 things where you can tell, as she listed them, one of 5 things in her list where you can tell if someone's been sent to hurt you is they'll test your boundaries and then escalate. And so he was literally like getting up in my space, like getting real close, and like, oh, he didn't like even verbalize it, but it's like, oh, he's getting stuff on the shelf right above me, and he keeps doing that. He hasn't made a pattern of that or a habit of that before, but now he started doing it, and he keeps doing it. Or, oh, there's a little paper towel dispenser over there, where next to where I'm washing dishes, and he didn't make a habit of it before, going like sort of manically over there and getting paper towels like all the time. But he started doing that to the point where I didn't say something. It was actually somebody else who said like, oh, now I know where all the paper towels are going. But like clearly, you know, he mentioned that, as I was saying, you know, you see something new maybe, and then you notice it. He mentioned that, and like it was after I had noticed it as well, but I didn't say anything. I was like, all right, so you're trying to get up close to me. And so, see, oh, that's funny. There's that copyrighted music or something. I wonder if someone's trying to kind of screw with this recording. We'll see what we can do. Maybe it didn't pick up too much, but I see, maybe not. As they say in the little manual that I saw a part of, or, you know, whatever, it seems like one of the themes is plausible deniability. And so it's like, you know, basically, you know, push this person XYZ ways, but maintain plausible deniability so that it's just a bunch of different things where it's like, well, could be just them doing it. As the boss said, one of the managers said when she confronted me about me confronting that guy, she's like, well, I was like, you know, he's been getting up in my space, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, well, you know, couldn't it just be like, you know, and she seemed to try to say it delicately. I'm not sure exactly how much knowledge she had one way or the other. She seemed nice enough, and in fact, it seemed like she had been one of the people who was more like, perhaps swayed in a direction negative to me by like others or by gossip or something, the whole malicious gossip thing. And so suddenly she'd like cool off without me having seen much of a difference in what I did, and suddenly like she'd be giving me a dirty look or something. It's like, well, what happened, etc. Not, it's like, oh, well, for me, it's like, well, you could have looked up stuff online that the media had said negatively about me, but after a certain point, it's like, is she really like looking stuff up? Could have also been, to be fair, could have been stuff like maybe I said something on a Twitch stream or something. That's fine. Could have been. But it also fits the pattern of like, oh, this person, perhaps they weren't going against you in the first place, but then someone came and kind of turned them against you. So whatever. In any case, she was sort of putting it lightly or something, and this was, I guess, really kind of the last time I really talked to her. She was like, well, could it be that maybe like you're basically like maybe you're kind of putting a story together that's not actually matching the events? And of course, like, plausible deniability, once you say something like that, it's like, well, it's difficult to prove yay or nay on that. But definitely when you have other people like noticing, for example, how somebody has a new pattern of behavior, and it seems like that's a pattern that leads them to get up close to me, that seems to be evidence towards potentially something changing in a way that might be intentional. But in any case, we have here like, the car thing where it's like, oh, I haven't seen cars sort of swing wide like that and seem to like do it in a way where it looks like they're gonna, they're gunning for me now, right? I haven't really seen that happen a lot, but in the past couple of days it seemed to have happened. Another thing was this was a strange one. This is like a horror movie, as much of this is. But I just saw a fucking retainer on the ground. I think that's funny. It's like, oh, Matt, confirmation bias city. It's like, well, maybe not. But because I've broken tooth, one on the top, one on the bottom, etc. In any case, another thing that was sort of like the horror movie thing was like, I went out for a walk the other night, and it was like maybe a week or a little more than a week ago now, but it was like past 10 p.m. or something, and it's just like a little walk, stroll around the neighborhood, like listen to, I think I was probably listening to Sleep Token, ironically, something like that, and I think it might have been their second album, whatever. I'm not yay or nay on them. I think that it's probably, I think, and it seems to me that it's probably a worse thing to listen to them, but they are very powerful. I think it seems to me that with the name, with the fans being called sleepyheads, etc., it seems to me like it's basically kind of like this is them giving you kind of the Illuminati keys for like a hedonistic lifestyle where, they might be telling you some legit stuff about like their philosophy, but it's not necessarily making you, it's not necessarily giving you a better life. It's just kind of giving you a more hedonistic one. I don't know. They have some interesting lyrics, but 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Just as I go past this car, that's funny, right? Interesting. Plus, you got the 88. I mentioned that with you can check out the more Gangstalking period video. I've talked about the 88. In fact, I pointed out what the 88 was to the girl in question that was like the manager at the place I worked. And she's like, oh, Matt, like she had sort of a funny reaction. She's like, oh, Matt, I'm sheltered, like don't in like sort of a funny way, like, oh no, don't tell me about like all those, potential like scary meanings for the numbers, like, oh, 88 means HH means whatever. And then she later like said in maybe sort of a funnier and elevated way, like 88, and I didn't look over because I was thinking like, well, is she talking to me? She seemed like she said it to like somebody else, or kind of like just said it, but she like, and it was like she probably was like kind of making a bit of a joke, and I didn't really return it. But in any case, there you go. And that's the amount of subscribers that the other channel with a similar name had. Now, actually, here we're going to go to that because that's huge. And in whatever this video might be, I guess I'll have the photo counterpart, because I literally already had a screenshot of this other thing. But in any case, I went out for a little walk. And, I like to go for a walk at night, not as many people around. You can listen to kind of whatever music, and often, like, especially with something like Sleep Token, indeed, it's kind of music that's fun to listen to at night, similar to like Nighthawks of the Diner. It's not just because it's called Sleep and not just because it's Nighthawks, but there are, like listen to Take Care by Drake. That's a good, a dark early morning album. I listened to it walking to an airport one time in Boston in the early morning. I was probably taking my life in my hands doing that, because I had been attempted to be mugged at least once in Boston. You can go check the Berkeley Beacon at Emerson for me getting interviewed about it, but that was like a year after the fact too, or whatever, whenever. So I come back though, and I get back to the house, and I'm sort of used to seeing strange things, so it's not really like a huge like surprise or like that alarming, but it's like, oh, okay, here we go again. I've been like smiling and nodding, kind of actually like legitimately laughing, like, oh, yep, here we go, yep, we got another one. We're probably gonna see some shit on the way through this parking lot right now, but I am. But so right out, and here's the thing, like it's sort of like, as much as it's plausibly deniable, it's also like sort of unmistakable, or it seems that way, unmistakable. And so there's this big fucking black dog, this big, like, scary looking, like if that dog went after you, that dog could do some damage. And I know, because I got bitten by a big dog when I was trying to resolve something at a hotel I worked at, and it was terrifying. The dog freaking nipped me. He was coming after me in the hallway. It was like, oh my goodness, like that dog could fucking maybe kill me. This dog, not quite as bad, but he was definitely like, a powerful looking dog. And it wasn't just like a stray, or it didn't seem like it. And remember, this is at night. This is like 10:30 or something, and nobody's around. No owner or like so-called dog owners around. It's just the fucking dog. He's got the collar on, so it seems, and he looks like well groomed and stuff. He doesn't look dirty or something, but it's just him standing alone in front of, not in front of anywhere else, in front of the house that I'm going to, in front of my house. The dog, big intimidating, scary looking dog with the collar on, nobody around him, standing in front of my house. And then I like, when I see him, he starts barking at me. And then I kind of look back at him or her, whatever the dog was, boy or girl. And then the dog like runs away and runs around the corner. And it's like, this is the kind of intimidating shit you get. So I'd probably do well to remind myself in all this that obviously or not, the sense of like, you're already fine / you are okay, which is sort of the explanatory sentence for electivity period, bolded period, the one that's there, is kind of what would be helpful to return to, because of course, I've written like their only weapon is fear. The only way they can get you is for you to think you're not okay. Or, perhaps that's just hopeful. It's like, oh, well, what if they had a dog like actually come and attack you? It's like, would that not be something? It's like, well, that might be something, but I mean, sort of on an essential level. It's like, yeah, rather that not happen, but I'm more worried about like sort of spiritual consequences, etc. And if there's not any of that, then in terms of like if you're like ultimately fine either way, then that's probably a good thing to return to. And so basically it's just a bunch of people saying boo. Check my first what I'm up against, or what I'm up against, and then what I got. First video where I like show evidence, or video / photo evidence or whatever of this stuff, screenshots, etc. I end by saying, hey, look, they're trying to derail you. And so the best you can do is, like Matt McKinley said to me, here's the thing. He said he hadn't been gang stalked. So, it's funny. I wonder if he has and he just doesn't know about it based on a couple of things he says, but I don't want to wish that on him. So, and if he hasn't, then great. And so maybe it would also be like, well, that's easy, not convenient for him to say, maybe so much, or easy for him to say, maybe convenient. But it's like, okay, like, yeah, like, he's basically like, if you continue to focus on it, continue to give energy to it, etc. There you go. That's something. And I say at the end of the other video, walking out of Walmart, actually, it's like, okay, well, you're, you might basically, you want to live your life and don't let them derail you. They can use the weapon of fear, like somebody did. One of my big triggers while I was at Walmart, and it kind of threw me for a loop. I think, as I said at the end of the Max Payne 4 video, the Max Payne Honesty is Pure period scapegoat 4. I was like, well, or as I said in that video, it's like, I think a lot of what puts me off, it's often not necessarily, or it seems like it might not be the thing that somebody does, but sort of the spirit in which they do it. And so somebody did this sort of horrific thing. I mean, if you had it happen near you, you might not even really notice it much, but I've been sensitive to it, etc. Or, it's been sort of a horrific experience for me. And somebody did that right after. Interestingly, I'll tell you what the context was. I went to ask somebody like where this item was that I was looking for. Interestingly, also the item, it was a white noise machine, and it was in aisle G43, and so that's G the 7, and then 43, that's another 7. And I've been sort of following the 7, so it's like, all right, I mean, basically, it's like, it just like everything else, it seems like it's sort of put there in a certain place where it's like they knew that I was going to be looking for it, or even perhaps that, how did I start wondering about it or thinking about it? Perhaps I was just kind of following a wavelength that was given to me. In any case, I was looking around for it, and I was basically in the right aisle, but it was on an end cap, and I hadn't seen it. It was right down in the corner, whatever, left corner. So, that's the part of the picture that people generally look at the least, right? They look at the top left down to the bottom right or something, etc., something like that, visually with things. Similar with this, it was the direct bottom left corner, of course. And it was an end cap, it wasn't the aisle, and the aisle also wasn't marked. It was G42, and then around it was G43, but it was just like half of an aisle as part of a bigger aisle, etc. So anyway, I went to ask about it, and I was like, yeah, I looked it up online, should be in, I said G34, and actually I had been looking more around 43, etc., but whatever, it was all in the same area. And so that I was thinking 34 at that point, because it's like, oh, which one was it? Maybe I got it wrong. And whatever, in any case, he's like, oh, no, he said, what did you say? I was like, 34, and he's like, it's 43. And I was like, okay, great. And so it was kind of a nice interaction. I don't know if he was just another one of these people, but whatever, it seems like everybody is. But, so I had like a nice little interaction with him. Like it ended on a nice note. I was like, oh, okay, great. Thank you very much. Like, even said it in like sort of nice tone, whatever. And I'm walking away, and immediately somebody like comes into the store and starts doing like basically my number one like worst trigger. And it's like, yep, there you go. It's like, well, Matt, that's a coincidence. It's like, again, plausibly deniable. It might be a coincidence if it were like once in a while or something. If basically everything there is pushing on your trauma, and like it's a specific set of things, and I've shown enough at this point. But it's like, okay, or I've shown enough to indicate that, to indicate something maybe. And so it's like, well, and here's the thing though, the guy was doing it like very, very overtly, very blatantly, like very much like, here's the thing, it went right fucking through me. And I was like doing the things are going well, and I was like breathing, and like, do things are going well while connecting your breathing 8 times. And I got a sense of like, if you do that 8 times, like you'll be fine for whatever case that you're in. I did that like a bunch of times. And eventually it seemed like it helped. I think I ended up seeing that guy in the fucking Easter candy aisle, which I went back to after finding the thing. And I was like, oh, great, is he going to start fucking doing it again? But here's the thing. Like, I bet he was doing it with, like, a sense of fucking malice. Like, like, basically, like, it's whistling. It's whistling. And, you know, you see, it's a cliche at this point. It's so hilarious that anybody actually does it. It's probably just all for me, right? This whole world probably is. But it's, like, such a fucking cliche. Every time somebody's, like, whistling in, like, a movie or anything, it's always them trying to look casual while they're doing something shitty. It's like, almost invariably, it's them sounding like, oh, do-do-do-do, trying to, like, basically trying to kind of draw attention to themselves and then also divert it. Well, I'm just standing here. I'm just whatever. And it's like they're usually doing something nefarious. So, in any case, it's like, okay. So, hitting me with that, whatever. Now, here's the thing. There was one of the ominous things, and I'll get back to it here, is there was a guy I argued with, a guy, girl, I think it might have been a girl, I don't even know, but on Substack, and their icon was like this sort of mean, like, it's like green background and this sort of like mean kind of smiling face. It's almost like the Grinch face, maybe with like even sort of a sharp, like jagged edged mouth or something, like drawn or illustrated. But sort of like a mean kind of like nasty, snarky kind of picture. And of course, like the argument I was having with them went from like sort of them being kind of like neutral or semi-neutral, but like arguing back against me, to like shifting into, once I made some like good points maybe or whatever, shifting into them just like starting to like insult me sort of viciously. And it's like, oh, what, someone insulted you online? It's like, well, yeah, but you know what? It's like they were being so nasty, just like with the other thing that I was just talking about. They were being so fucking nasty. And like, I literally had already taken a screenshot of it because I was so put off. And because I was arguing with somebody else, like 3 different people about the same sort of situation. I talk about it actually in the first Matt's blog thing. But one of the people, I actually showed a screenshot of what this person had said to me, which was basically like, well, look who's crying now. And it's this evil fucking, like, evil Grinch. Oh, here we go. Yep, they're trying to fuck with me now, right? It's this evil Grinch face. And basically, and I'll probably have it in this video. But what do I see on the not Substack, the YouTube page, The American Noble? What do I see on the top of their little like hand-drawn thing? And by the way, it's like hand-drawn. Their description is saying like I show the description in some of the, you know, screenshots or actually photos I took of it on my TV screen in the more Gangstalking period video. But what do I see? Because they have like this horrible, like this scary dragon, hand-drawn dragon in their like banner image. But then it might be like a different kind of hand-drawn image for their like, you know, profile pic, which is, I guess, in the circle. And above whatever was like towards the bottom of it, what do I see? And you can see it for yourself because you can go back and look at it, and I'm probably going to put the image of the Substack person's profile picture. But what do I see? But the same kind of fucking Grinch image, or the same green, the same like jagged, smiling, sneering, snarky mouth. And then you look at the other Noble American thing, and both of them are like, it says it's from 2016, maybe, I don't know. I remember looking up American Noble to see if anyone had taken it. Maybe I had seen those, and I was like, well, that says The American Noble, but mine is just American Noble, and I already have the Substack, whatever. I don't know, because in any case, it's like, oh, 88 subscribers. I mentioned the 88. Oh, okay, they're talking, in the description, it's like, talking about homelessness and getting out of your parents' house. And what happens to TIs? They say like they're driven so far up the wall by like all the harassment and stuff that often they might, or the goal might be for them to end up homeless. And then also I live at my parents' house or mother's house, so it's like, okay, well, there you go. That's that part of it. And then above that, before they get into that, it seems like sort of disconnected. They're like, this is a page for the truth and people who know what's real and stuff. And you can check it out on the screenshot. It's like basically it's like everything that sort of like everything like sort of mocking my life and kind of giving me a dangerous omen. And then also like fucking with me in terms of like we're calling ourselves a truth channel. Then, of course, the other guy, the Noble American one, he has one video, and it's him, like, apparently sitting in his car, sort of doing a talking thing, just sort of off the cuff, like I'm wont to do. And he's talking about, oh, the feminazis, and oh, the left-wing politics. And it's like, again, it seems like just a fucking, oh, yeah, gangstalkers. It seems like it's, and they're trying to get me with the fucking copyrighted music here, too. It seems like just another fucking case of, like, this is a channel sort of distorting stuff that I would talk about or what I would do. But they happen to say like, oh, 2016, like they were around well before you. They just have the one video. It's Noble American, and it's them kind of going off the cuff like someone might do if they were kind of mocking or mimicking what you might do. And it's them talking about like how they don't like the left-wing politics or something. It's like they got all of it, Matt. They got all of it, or not all of it, but you know they have a decent amount of it. And then the guy, like, he looks somewhat clean cut, but he also looks somewhat like, I don't know, somewhat like unpresentable. And it's like, wow, yeah. So these are just mockery channels, seemingly. Except of course it seems like they're mockery channels that say they're from like X years ago. Maybe they were, I'm not sure, but it's just hilarious because it's like, I don't know. I mean, how easy would it be to just, if you were going to make a new channel and you had some access to the buttons and levers of the system, how easy would it be to just say that your channel had started whenever? All they have to do is write that in, right? It's not that I think that's necessarily what happened. I think it might be as bizarre as like maybe it was around from back then. Matt McKinley might say a retro causality, or perhaps it's sort of like a sense of like, I don't know, like some kind of sense of like, I've been so on some kind of fucking track that it was like, it was waiting for me to do exactly that. Not to mention that you see the bag that I had. I don't know if I looked at this in any way related to the name American Noble, but I noticed this a little while ago. It's like, oh shit, yeah, that bag that I was started using for the food, it's like that bag says Noble on it. And then going back to the other one, you've got that like scary like hand-drawn thing of the dragon. And I've had like hand-drawn stuff that characterizes like some of what I put out. Stuff I've sent to Matt McKinley or like had in like various blogs or posted or whatever. And like, oh, so they got the hand-drawing thing going on too. And it's the dragon. And I've been talking about like, well, what if reptilians are real? Or like, what are the dragons that are like on these like Richard Bandler Grinder books? And it's like, it's basically... It seems like everything is like this sort of threatening kind of mockery of me. So I'm glad I caught this. This is one of the most horrific, possibly gang stalking things that's ever happened to me. So what's this? This looks like tape folded up a bunch of times, right? Now look at the back of these pieces of pizza. Now I'm not going to put it back on there. And in fact, maybe I'm going to tear off that part of that. And I don't know, maybe just tear off. I don't know, maybe I'm just going to tear it off because I am hungry. That's sad. It's right. But this is the kind of shit. I could show you the text too. In fact, I might as well put those in as well. Into whatever this is going to be. I texted my aunt and I was like, you know, because she's like, oh, we'd like to take you out to dinner, X place, and it's right near my house. And I was like, no, people in this town don't like me very much, blah, blah, blah. I'd rather go somewhere not in the square mile. And I usually am not the type to be like, oh, yeah, no, can we go somewhere different actually for eating? But it's like, well, you know, like if I feel like they're just going to be messing with my food, then okay. Now, here's the thing. She got this too. She actually, this was the pizza that she got. She got a pizza and she got a pizza for me, and then she gave me the leftovers of both. It was my birthday, and so but she usually does that anyway. She gave me the leftovers of both, and so I've been eating those, and this was the one she had, the margarita pizza, and it was very good. Now, stuck underneath it, and I was like picking at it before I saw it. I was like picking at it a little bit before I put it in the microwave, but stuck underneath it How does this get on fucking pizza? How does this fucking, like, tape, or maybe, like, a Band-Aid or something? How does this get on the underside of pizza? And it's like, well, did it come in a box? It's like, well, no, it was a sit-down restaurant, and then they ended up putting it in a box. I don't know. Was this baked under the pizza? Was it baked under the pizza? Was it... did they, when they brought the box out, did they put that there, like, waiting, like, under the pizza, like, basically on top of the, like, I don't know, on top of the wax paper or something that they put the pizza on for that? Or, you know, because there was wax paper in the box. Why is there folded up tape here? And there was a weird vibe when a guy came out. A guy brought the appetizer out to our table, and he had this weird vibe. It was basically the same kind of shitty, fucking, like, arrogant, mean, serious vibe I get from people, where it's like, that's kind of ominous. And it's like, I probably shouldn't have eaten anything there, but it's like, well, whatever. Because it was still fairly close to the house. I wish she would have, like, taken it seriously. I'm not trying to insult her. I wish she would have taken it seriously enough to, like, pick another frickin' town, but I didn't want to be like, well, no, it has to be, like, X miles away. I just said not within the square mile. It was still, like, within the named town, right? And still people would have known me or had a jump on me. And it's like, well, this, you know what, Aunt? Like, and look, I'm not trying to turn her into the bad guy, but I'm like, you know what? Like, you might have been eating something where indeed when they made it, they put, like, this fucking folded up piece of tape under it. And, like, because I peeled it off, I was like, what, is that just, like, a weird, like, discoloration of the dough or something? It's like, no, look at that. That was across 2 pieces, right? There you go. I don't want to put it on there again, because I don't want it to screw with it anymore. And in case I eat it, oh, look, there you can see a little bit of the pizza stuff. Now, what is that? Maybe I should save this with these, where my mouth seemed to be having a reaction with these toothpicks after I had left them out, rather than putting them in the bag with my food, where I keep it with me and take pictures of it when I leave, so that, I see whether the bag seems to have, like, moved around a bit. And you can tell with the bag pretty well. It's like, it's going to be tough to recreate the actual, like, folding of the bag and stuff. So if you take some pictures, you can tell, like, do those folds look the same? Bags are pretty good that way. By the way, look, this live stream, I'm still trying to do it, going live. It booted me off, and now I'm just trying again and again. Whatever, maybe I'll get the live stream, maybe I won't. But this is kind of horrific, isn't it? It looks like they actually put some kind of masking tape under the pizza. You know what? I had my usual little, like, OCD, like, oh no, like, oh, don't do that, like, no, that has to be the last video. It's like, you know what? No, let's see if we can't, basically, because I just heard the tape sound of this, so let's see if we can't, like, undo this, and so you can get the sense of, like, see me actually undoing this, right? This is what was under the pizza from the Carriage Inn. I'll say it. The Carriage Inn in North Kingstown, Rhode Island. The Carriage Inn. Look at this. Look at this fucking shit. This was underneath the pizza. Oh, Matt, you put that there. No, I did not. I literally did not. I wouldn't have wanted to ruin the pizza, actually. As I was saying, I kind of want to finish it even with this stuff under there. But, like, this is fucking horrific. I should take this to be fucking tested along with those fucking toothpicks, where I left them out, and suddenly it seemed like my throat was fucking swelling up having used them. And it's like, oh, well, I don't. Was it eating an onion? But I have been eating onions. Was it like eating the donuts or something? My throat was swelling up to the point where, like, I was, it was a problem while I was, like, sleeping, and in the morning I was like, am I going to be able to eat anything? Luckily I was able to do it with, like, some releasing and whatever, but it's like, so you got these fucking toothpicks, I should have these fucking tested and not use them again, because I didn't like basically protect them. And so someone, as my mom once said to me recently, like, oh, when you were gone I heard footsteps upstairs. It's like, all right, well, oh, maybe it's more of that type of shit with this fucking shit. Does this look like the consistency of pizza? Does this look like the fucking consistency? Oh, this is fucking tape. This is fucking tape. Or is it a Band-Aid? I was thinking Band-Aid, actually. This is when I peeled it off. I'm glad I fucking peeled it and I didn't fucking bite into this shit. Look at this shit. There's some of the pizza. On it. Oh my goodness. And then let me show you the pizza again, just to show you. And oh yeah, let's see if there are any little prizes here. Yeah, oh wow, thanks guys. This is a health code violation, is it not? Look, I'm not trying to screw anybody over. I'm saying people screw me. Look at this fucking shit. So you can see the food fucking coming out of it. Have you ever had this? Have you ever had this at a restaurant and the waitress was giving me kind of dirty looks the entire fucking time? Yeah, they knew who I was, apparently. Look at this fucking shit.